The forest was silent, save for the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of a night bird. Deep within Grace's wooded land stood a secluded cottage, its stone walls warmed by the flicker of firelight inside. The air hung heavy with anticipation, the kind that presses against the skin and stills the breath. Inside, the king stood near a narrow window, his hands clasped behind his back. Rain clung to his dark cloak, dripping slowly to the floor, the journey having left its mark on him. The fire crackled in the hearth, casting shifting shadows across the humble room. No banners hung here, no guards stood watch, only silence, broken by the sound of the door creaking open. Anwen stepped into the room, her posture straight, but her hands betraying her nerves as they twisted the hem of her cloak. Her red hair fell in soft waves over her shoulders, catching the warm glow of the fire. Her face was composed, barely, but her eyes scanned the room with quiet alertness, measuring every detail, every breath. The king did not turn. "What is your name?" he asked, his voice low and even. She hesitated only a moment. "Anwen, Your Majesty." He turned then, slowly, his eyes resting on her as though seeing not a girl, but a riddle. There was nothing familiar in her voice, her stance, or even her name. His gaze was cool, guarded, curious. Anwen met his stare, long enough to be respectful, but not defiant. "They say you carry my blood," he said evenly. She remained silent. He took a step forward, then another, each movement deliberate. The silence between them stretched thin and taut. "And what makes you believe that?" His voice had softened now, touched with skepticism, but still measured. Anwen hesitated. Her hand lifted to the pendant at her throat, a simple brass locket, but she did not open it. She let her fingers fall away, took a breath, and said softly, "Stars remember those we forget." The king stopped, dead still. For the first time in years, something flickered in his eyes. Not recognition, not yet, but memory, shock, perhaps even fear. "What did you say?" he asked, the words catching in his throat. "It's what my mother used to tell me," Anwen said, her voice steadier now. "She said you once said it to her." Silence fell again, heavier this time. He looked at her fully, truly, for the first time. The red hair, the eyes, the quiet fire that burned behind them. She stood like a ghost returned to flesh, a living fragment of the past. "Your mother's name." His voice was hushed now, barely more than breath. "Elira." He turned away sharply, as though struck. His shoulders lifted with a sudden breath, his hand rising to his face. For a long moment, he pressed his fingers to the corner of his eyes, not weeping, not broken, but on the edge, holding something back that threatened to spill. Then Anwen's voice came again, gentle as falling leaves. "She told me never to hate you." His breath caught. His shoulders trembled just for a second. And in that moment, something inside him gave way. When he turned back, the mask of royalty was there again, but beneath it, something raw remained. He looked at her, not as a monarch weighing a subject, but as a man facing what he had abandoned and what had found him again. "You'll stay here with Grace until it's safe." Anwen nodded, her voice barely more than a whisper. "Thank you, Father."
The fire burned low in the hearth. Rain whispered against the windows, the steady hush wrapping the cottage in silence. On the heavy table lay a small stack of documents, edges curled from damp. The king stood over them, shoulders heavy, his hand resting on one page as though holding back the truth itself. Grace stood across from him, arms folded, eyes steady. Eleanor at her side, quiet but unyielding. The king's voice broke the silence. I thought betrayal came from outside. I was wrong. Grace's voice cut through, because it was easier not to see. The king looked at her. No anger, only weariness. I feared what I'd find. Eleanor stepped forward. And now you've found it, what will you do? The king's jaw tightened. He reached for the pen. With slow, deliberate strokes, he signed. You'll have what you need. Grace and Eleanor exchanged a glance. No triumph, only understanding. The firelight flickered across the king's face. Shadows shifted, but the weight remained. Truth, finally faced. In the days that followed, the king's orders moved swiftly. Quietly at first, like the turning of a tide. Then with force that could not be ignored. Across the kingdom, men once thought untouchable were brought low. Guards appeared at manor gates, in shadowed alleys, outside council chambers. Arrests were made without ceremony. No speeches, no mercy. Ledgers were seized, hidden accounts exposed. Secrets, once locked behind wealth and power, were dragged into the open air. And the kingdom, long cloaked in silence and fear, began to stir. In towns and villages, word spread. The old order was breaking. The rot, at last, was being cut away. Amid this reckoning, a scroll arrived at Grace's house, sealed with the royal mark. Eleanor had been granted her freedom and enough money to do whatever she wanted by the king. The royal pardon was written in bold, deliberate hand, her name cleared, her past forgiven. Below it, a note penned in the king's own script. For courage in the face of power. For truth spoken when silence was safer. For fighting where fighting must be done. It was time to go, and Grace and Eleanor found themselves standing, looking at each other. Finally, Grace said quietly, You know, you don't have to go. You can stay. Eleanor looked at her for a long while, and then said tenderly, Wherever I end up, I'll always have a part of you with me. They embraced not just as friends, but now as family. Soon it became a three-way embrace as Anwen stepped in, and the three of them laughed and cried together. A carriage was waiting for Eleanor to take her to a place she had never been. Grace peered through the window and said, You let me know when you get settled. Yes, I promise, replied Eleanor. The carriage took off. The air was crisp, the sky filled with the promise of a new day. She left with no banner, no title, only the road ahead and the wind at her back. She did not look back. For Eleanor Quinn, the fight was over, and a new journey had only just begun.
Carry it with you, the light that you found. a flame in the dark when no one's around. Through shadow and silence, through weary miles too. Carry it always, it carries you.